throughout the years, we've had to rein in Adam. Just make sure that he's saying stuff that the entire band agrees with, and not just what Adam thinks is funny, because not everyone's going to appreciate Adam saying stuff. So yeah, occasionally we have to stop him and say, "Hey, man, let's stay away from that," or "That was funny, but we could probably go this route with something like that."
Mike of Killswitch Engage, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a special year for you. 25 years of the band. You're now officially old enough to be played on classic rock radio. There's obviously that, there's been some big changes, obviously, in the lineup. We all know that, but not many changes. And if you look at it, for a band that's been around so long, you've been such a stable core, if you will. Do you take time to take a step back and reflect and figure out what was that special element that your band had, where so many bands of the same length of you has had people come and go all the time?
Yeah, it's a strange thing. You join bands and you don't even think they're going to last, 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Just something to do when you're a kid. And this band has lasted 25 years. I feel like it's because we're really good friends. We can talk to each other as humans, not yell at each other. If there's a discrepancy or discussion that needs addressing, we do it right away. You also have to live on the bus with this person, so it really is not the best thing to have animosity. Other bands can deal with it. We can't. It's got to be everyone same page. Let's do this thing the right way. And I think that has helped us throughout the years. Everyone's very civil to each other and very, very cordial. We're all, like I said, really good friends. So it helps a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Now, this milestone, you've been celebrating this milestone. There's been, we've seen a pop-up museum. There's been special merch. You've got special edition magazines that came out with Revolver. Is celebrating these milestones, obviously, teams around you and PR teams and management and labels want to very actively celebrate milestones like this. But for you yourself, is that just part of the gig, or do these milestones hit hard for you? Or would you consider yourself as a nostalgic person that likes to celebrate longevity like that?
Take a look behind me. I have all these skateboards from the 80s. Am I a nostalgic person? Hell no. Obviously, I am. Yes, very much so. With the Killswitch stuff, a lot of these dates and anniversaries, we don't even realize are happening as they're happening. A lot of times our fans will have to remind us, "Hey, you've been together 25 years. Why don't you do something for that?" And it's only because we live in the moment. We're not thinking too far ahead. We're just in our spot doing our thing, not really, definitely not thinking backwards, but a lot of times thinking forwards, but I guess not to anniversaries. The last thing we want to be known as is a legacy band. We really don't want to be that old thing that you pull out of your attic once in a while. We want to stay current. So the 25 years thing, I think maybe I figured it out. I don't know how. And it took, as you can see, 9 months to even get anything sort of started. We had a whole year to plan, and none of the planning happened until the end of the year. So it's just kind of the way things turn out, and the fact that we're not really thinking about it that hard. But it's cool. It's dramatic. Yeah. It's a huge milestone.
For sure.
I never thought I'd be in a band for 25 years, and it's pretty cool that it's the one that people like.
Before we jump into the new album, which is the main reason, obviously, that we're talking here, you guys will be on a really epic tour in the new year. I think a couple of weeks after you guys start that tour, Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine are going on tour together. They're gonna go all over North America, including here in Canada. Back in the day when I was, I guess, yeah, a young adult in those days. The three of you kind of came out at a similar time and were like carrying the flame for a new generation, if you will. So, seeing that tour, seeing your new album and your new tour coming out. Before we focus completely on the present and the future, like, are there elements of those early days that you do miss? Because you might not want to consider yourself a legacy band, but you are very much a different entity now than those years ago. Like, maybe you have less or more freedom, depending on how you look at it. Are there elements of those early days that, Mike today misses?
Well, we were definitely grinding. I know at one point we were the most touring metal band above Metallica. I saw it on the internet, so I swear it's true.
It has to be true. It has to be true.
Who knows? You don't concentrate on that while it's happening.
Yeah.
The schedule was really grueling, so I really like that we can take a step back now a little bit, and less is more. The less you play, the more it means, which is really cool. We don't have to grind as much to get our name out there because it's already out there, which is great. I do miss everything being new. You go to a new place. We've been everywhere almost at this point. There's only maybe a handful of places we haven't been. So every time we go to a new spot, it's always really fun to check out, if you can have enough time to check out the area or at least look around within a mile radius of the venue.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen as often. It's really cool and not cool at the same time when you're touring in a van, because it's dangerous as hell. But there's the camaraderie of being in a van and everyone pulling together to get us to that next spot on time. Everyone pulling their own weight and driving or figuring out directions, or like someone's going to call management and tell them that this is going wrong, or we need new merch. Those days are really cool in that you feel like you're a cowboy in the Wild West, just doing it without any conception of coming back to like no money or just not being able to afford bills. There's just this whole other world on the road.
Yeah.
And you either fall in love with it or you hate it, and we fell in love with it a long time ago.
All right, let's focus on This Consequence. That is coming out February 21st, your 9th album already. So maybe a big celebration for the 10th album that's going to come after that. This album, like the moment it starts, we know that you guys mean business. You don't waste time with long intros or setting the scene. You kind of kick down the door straight with songs like Abandon Us and Discoordination. Was that important to kind of like make sure that this album, after 25 years, is still like a statement of we still have the energy and, we're not going to slow down?
There's definitely a discrepancy on what song to start with for the new record, and Abandon Us has more of an intro than Discordant, because Discordant was the one that people were thinking would have been a better track to start live, and Abandon Us won out only because it has like an extra 30 seconds more of intro.
Yeah.
That's the way we plan things. Like, it's pretty like, oh, this makes more sense, so let's just do this type of thing. This record was written a lot like records that we've done in the past, so maybe that has a lot to do with more of the uppity speed, in-your-face ness of the thing. It has more of a stamp of everybody in the band rather than just one person writing demos. We all sat in a room this time. 2 times we spent a week sessions with each other, and each week that we spent writing, I think we came up with 6 songs per session, so it was like really fruitful, and really it was a cool experiment that we hadn't done in a long time. I feel like the record shows the cohesiveness of maybe the songs, the more broad range these songs have, rather than a contrived point of view that some of the demos may have, that people have written for 25 years now. So to branch out and to have new things on the record and surprise the listeners a bit more, I think this record has all of those components.
Yeah. And locking yourself in a room for a week today, kind of reminiscent to those all together in a van on the road days, I'm sure.
A little of that, and even just writing like the first record, I remember writing Alive or Just Breathing, and we were all just laughing. We're just like, they can't let us release stuff like this. They're gonna kick us off the label as soon as we hand in this record. We're just like, ah ha ha. But what if we did something like this? We were just that whole record was just us poking ourselves to write something crazier and crazier as we went along. So I think this one has a lot in common with that sort of nature.
Yeah. Well, in those two first songs, that they pack a punch. There's no doubt about it. It's followed by, well, you give us a bit of a false sense of breathing, I guess, when Aftermath starts. That also has a little bit of a more intro phase to it, but then it gets pretty bleak pretty quickly. We can find a glimmer of hope. It's a new anthem for the band, I would expect. I expect this song to do really well in a live setting.
Cool. Yeah, that's one of the Aftermath is definitely one of the songs picked as a single. A lot of times we just kind of throw these songs at management and the label and say, okay, we like them all. Which ones do you guys gravitate towards? And that was one of the first ones that everyone was like, whoa, this is a real catchy tune. It's got the ferocity that you guys have, but it also has the catchiness to hook them in and bring them back for more. So a lot of times they're right and we're not, so we listen to them.
This song kind of like, it's like a good like business card for people for those few people out there that don't know who you are. It's like a song, I feel like, that just captures the band really nicely, because we do get all these different facets. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I buy that. I think Joel might have wrote that song, but awesome. Or most of it anyways, till we got it in the studio and played with it. But
and maybe it is the way that you guys wrote this album, but there is like to use a very technical term, there's like a rockiness to it. It feels like a lot of these songs could very easily, without too much, having to dissect and rearrange stuff to bring them live. I think about songs like Where It Dies, The Fall of Us, all pretty intense songs, but songs that you could easily see a band play live very close to how it's on the album. Should we expect, even with that legacy and that 25 years and 8 albums, when you go on the road, can we keep our fingers crossed that we do get a lot of new material?
It's always like a fine line, how much new material to give people who may not necessarily have the record yet. It's a great way to promote the new record. Obviously, that's what your intentions are to come out and play the songs. But we don't want to bore people as well. There's both sides to the coin. And I think we have determined that maybe 4 or 5 songs is enough in our 16 to 20 song set, enough to keep things flowing and go back to something old that maybe people recognize a bit more. I think the singles are going to come first, and the videos. We just shot our 3rd video, and they're talking about between 4 and 5. We'll see. Fingers crossed. If the record does well, we'll be able to do more of that stuff.
I want to share with you this anecdote. I remember being at one of the Grass Pop festivals, and this was a year that you guys weren't playing there, because you've played there many times. But I remember this one year, it was shortly after Dio passed away, and there was Dio disciples playing like cover songs. And some of my buddies there, a little bit younger than myself maybe, they started playing Holy Diver, and there were two guys going, "Oh, they're playing Killswitch Engage." I thought that was
Mm.
pretty funny. You guys have been like always, well, embraced. I would almost say, where not every metalcore band has been embraced by the traditional metal scene, but you guys, I feel, have. Um, is that because you just wore those influences on your sleeve very open? Like your version of Holy Diver became a big hit at the time.
Hmm. Um, it's it's hard to say if we've done anything conscious to keep ourselves relevant in metal fans' eyes. We're just kind of doing our thing.
Hmm.
But yes, we do like to at least tell the bands that we appreciate them. We like to spread the news on bands that we love, and a lot of times those bands are underground hardcore bands that people may not have heard of, because that's where we come from, and that's what we gravitate towards listening to. So I don't know if I have an answer to your question, but it's cool that people like us. I don't know.
There you go.
There's no real secret besides just trying to stay as hard as we possibly can, while also retaining the hooks in the choruses to keep people coming back for more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On those big shows, I mean, I've seen you play many, many times over the years. You guys have kind of like that Van Halen thing where you both have a singer and one particular musician in the band that can claim the spotlight during a live show with antics and what have you. For you, as somebody that's been there the entire time and key member of the band, has that been like a nice, and I don't know if the word distraction is right, but is it nice for you that you can be, a founding member of this band and have been very involved the entire time, but you can let two other people take that live spotlight away from you? It's like Michael Anthony was a great bass player, but people will remember first and foremost Eddie Van Halen, and then depending on which time of they were listening to Van Halen, they would think of David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar as the faces of the band, if you will, just because of their over-the-top personas on stage. You guys have a bit of a similar thing with Adam. Is that nice for you to have, because you can kind of disappear in the collective when you want to?
Well, I guess he's a very recognizable guy. So one of the good things with being in a crowd is that people will approach him before they approach me, because I'm so normal looking, and he's like a character. He's like a
Yeah.
caricature himself. Throughout the years, we've had to rein in Adam. Just make sure that he's saying stuff that the entire band agrees with, and not just what Adam thinks is funny, because not everyone's going to appreciate Adam saying stuff. So yeah, occasionally we have to stop him and say, "Hey, man, let's stay away from that," or "That was funny, but we could probably go this route with something like that." But there's no scripts. There's no like, he's going to say this tonight. Oh, I can't wait till he says this. It's just kind of let him run with it. And I guess the cool part is there's like the dichotomy of the good cop, bad cop on
Right.
stage. We got like a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and he likes to tell the audience how much he loves them, and that we're having fun and having a good time. And then you have this other guy who likes to take a shit on everything that the fun guy, the happy guy, is saying, and kind of melt everything back down into its core of, you're just at a show, man. Just like, take it easy.
Yeah.
We kind of love that. It's great. It's sort of like, well, we've called ourselves the Beastie Boys of metal occasionally, just because we have that sort of fun vibe. Not all metal bands love fun or smiling at shows, so I could
Yeah.
see where some people take offense to that. It's pretty strange to us that you can't go to a show and have fun. Like, that's the whole reason why I go to shows, to have a good time. And I think Adam and even when Howard was in the band, there was still that good cop, bad cop kind of
Right.
craziness. One person will say something very straightforward, and the other person will say something so outlandish that you have to step back and say, "What is happening on stage right now?" Yeah, we kind of like that. It sets us apart, I think, and we haven't gotten canceled yet, so fingers
There you go.
crossed.
There you go. Goals for next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't kill the passion in me.
2024 was crazy, but 2025 for you will be even crazier and even busier. Mike, I want to thank you so.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, we're starting in March. It looks like we're booked all the way through December. Definitely going to the UK. Definitely going to Europe. We're doing 2 legs. We're going to do a full US coming soon, and Canada is mixed in with that as well. And then once December is over, I'm sure there's going to be a whole nother year, fingers crossed, of us running around and doing crazy stuff. I guess it just all depends on if you guys like the record or not.
There you go. There you go. We'll find along that ride, we'll find some, rooms to lock you up for a couple of weeks. All 6 of you can be together, or all 5 of you can be together, and write another. Was it 2 sets of 6 songs that will make up a new album again with a couple of bonus tracks even? There you go. So fantastic. Well, Mike, thank you so much. I wish you fantastic break over the holidays before this roller coaster of a year is going to kick off, and then I hope to see you several times on the stage in 2025.
Thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it. I love those Iron Maiden posters on your wall too. Those are awesome.
Go. They're cool. Signed by Derek himself.
Woo! That's sweet.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.